Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. And Lawson, we got to talk about the NFC East and how it's playing out. And it's just starting to look more and more like Dallas is going to win this by default.
Yeah, it's by default. Remember like 3-4 years ago when 8-8 would win this division, when everyone used to call it the NFC least. We were just looking at the Eagles' schedule. We'll go through it. And Gift, I thought the Eagles would have a response. I thought they would go on the road and beat Dallas. I thought they would put in a polished, well-groomed performance, but we haven't seen that. And I guess the way I have to start this video is to say they're done. There's no other way around it, especially when you compound this schedule into it. Listen, we know the Cowboys are vulnerable. We know the Cowboys might only win 9 games maximum. I don't know if Eagles even get to 8 at this point, man.
Well, yeah, when we're looking at their schedule now, I think they'd be lucky to win 3 of their remaining games, and that's 2 against the Giants and 1 against the Redskins. But the collapse of the Eagles is real. We thought they could turn it around because of what Pedersen was able to accomplish in the past, but there's just so many things wrong with the team right now. They're lacking a deep threat. The offensive line is playing absolutely horrible. Jason Peters keeps getting thrown in and out of the lineup because of injuries and illnesses. It's a problem. They can't establish anything offensively. And then defensively, the injuries and the lack of talent is starting to show.
Why is no one talking about the run game, though? Like, listen, we'll get to Carson Wentz. He has his place in this discussion. That secondary has a big blame to be placed upon them. Yeah. But why is no one talking about this run game? Because that's what made the Eagles great. Pounding it, play action, Pedersen working stuff off play action. That was the blueprint for their success. And me and you, I think I'm not saying we're like the only smart people on earth, but I don't remember people besides me and you questioning, the Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard combo. Yeah. And then like you already mentioned, you mix in this offensive line and there's a lot of blame to go around. And I'm more worried about the run game than I am Carson Wentz or the secondary.
Absolutely, I am too, because that would open up everything else for them. And when you look back at when they went to the Super Bowl and when they were good, the run game was present. And, same thing with Dallas, same thing with the Rams. Those are the teams that have shown if you run the football effectively and teams can't stop that, that opens up everything else and makes the whole team look good. That's not happening right now, and Carson Wentz can't get it done on his own. He is good, but I don't think he's getting much help. I mean, obviously they have Alshon Jeffrey, but Aguilar, he's ending up being a bust.
Well, we got to talk about Aguilar real quick. He's completely checked out at this point. Yeah. If the Eagles had any wherewithal, they would seriously release him or trade him. I don't know the value. You probably couldn't get anything for him, but he's completely checked out, and you can't leave players on your team like that. Then we see Orlando Scandrick get scapegoated. Listen, you were making fun of Orlando Scandrick last year because he should be out of the league, but the Eagles signed him.
Yeah, I was surprised that they gave him a chance, and then they ended up letting that drama affect them, and now they had to get rid of him, and then there was parting words, and he put the Eagles down.
Well, I got a problem with Malcolm Jenkins. Listen, I know it sounds a little bit bitter. It sounds a bit womanly how Orlando Scandrick went on FS1 and started airing dirty laundry, but I do think Malcolm Jenkins is a bit of a fraud. I do have to agree with Orlando Scandrick there.
Yeah, I really never was a big Malcolm Jenkins fan. I mean, I thought he was like a good player, but not great, as some people like to label him. And again, that defense, Jim Schwartz has done a great job as a coach, but now even he can't mask the injuries. And also, in that Super Bowl run, the defensive line was playing at such a high level. Now Fletcher Cox obviously isn't healthy this year. You really only have, I would say, Brandon Graham playing at a high level. No one really else on that defensive line this year.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Giff. Even Fletcher Cox, he's looked like kind of like a 60% bargain price version of himself. And that's an issue, like you said, where's the pass rush? Because we knew the secondary was going to be trashed before the season started. We just assumed there'd be a good pass rush.
We did, and then this week against the Bills, without Fletcher Cox in that lineup, and then, look, Frank Gore may be 36, but he's still running pretty damn good. they're going to have to deal with that. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get that win. But as you said, when you look at the schedule, after this week with the Bills, they have to play another good defense with the Bears.
Yeah, real quick comment about that Bills game first. I want to say this goes down to the last possession, but the way the Eagles have been losing this turnover battle, and we know the Bills create a lot of turnovers, this might get ugly. Listen, hypothetically, if we took everything away, the Eagles should have a great chance to win this game. I'm just not there right now due to the turnovers.
Well, from what I've heard and what I kind of expect is that I think Carson Wentz will play like it's the last game of the season. Like they need to win it. And I think he'll make a lot of good plays. But the problem is there's just not enough. There's, like you said, there's no threat of the run game. And then through the air. I'm not saying Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey aren't good, but they don't have anybody with speed.
Well, you've been mentioning the whole Deshaun Jackson factor, and it really is a missing component. It is, especially when you're going to face, okay, you're facing the Bills this week, you're facing the Bears next week, then you're facing the Patriots. Those are three really good defenses. Those are arguably 3 top 5, top 6 defenses.
And then right after that, in prime time, you got to face Russell Wilson, and most likely they're going to be playing for their playoff lives at that point.
Yeah, and even this game, Eagles at home against the Bears, you would think the Eagles could win this one, but I wouldn't bet on it. And then you would think maybe at home they could beat the Seahawks, but like you said, Seahawks are going to have their back up against the wall too. Are they going to be able to do it? And listen, at least, the Bears game is at home, the Patriots game is at home, the Seahawks game is at home. But how long until the fans turn on this team? And I'm getting a little bit tired of Carson Wentz taking all the blame. I'm the biggest Miracle Nick Foles fan there is. But you got to run the football. You got to play a little bit more physical on offense. I mean, come on.
It's just everything has come so unhinged for the Eagles on both sides of the football. And that's, I don't think there's any remedy for this. I don't see how there could be one between the injuries and there was already a lack of talent defensively anyways. But you add in the fact, even Nigel Bradham's hurt. Now they're down to, no linebackers now?
Are you trying to talk me into a money pick this week for the Bills? Fletcher Cox and Nigel Bradham are out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough ask. Even though I feel like the Bills are due to lose, this is a tough ask for Philly to win this one.
The Bills have been pretty disciplined. If they do run the football in this game and are committed to that, and I think that Miami game for the Bills was a wake-up call as far as the defense goes. But the only thing that keeps me away from a money pick with this going with the Bills is the offense for the Bills. They're just so inconsistent with the receivers. The offense, that's what keeps me from going with them.
Yeah, and then at least the Eagles get to play the Dolphins after Seattle. They get to play the Giants. They get to play the Redskins. They get to play the Cowboys, and they finish up with the Giants. But I don't know if that late run is enough to solidify a playoff place because they're going to have to beat the Bears, Seahawks, and probably the Bills to even have a shot at things.
9 remaining games. We see 3 definite wins. Obviously, 2 against the Giants, 1 against the Dolphins.
And 1 against the Redskins, so 4. But I'm not seeing a whole lot else. And even if, let's say they even beat Dallas, I think Dallas is still going to end up having a better record than them.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is turning into what the Atlanta Falcons were last year. It's starting to feel like that, right? Lots of talent, lots of good players, but it's all starting to spiral out of control. And I don't know if this can be saved. The only way this can be saved is with a legit run game, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So
yeah, and I think that's where we can end it because I don't think that they're going to be getting that run game going. When an offensive line plays as good as they did when they had that Super Bowl run, it's kind of hard to get back to that. Yeah. It really is. So without that element...
And Giff, here's what I'm saying. You can name the video what you want, but for me, the Philadelphia Eagles are done. Put a fork in them. It's over. Their season's over. And maybe this dynasty that Philadelphia Eagles fans were talking about, it is coming to an end because this looks like it's going to end ugly. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to pivot for next year. It just seems like this is going to be a plane crashing into the ground.
Well, I'll just say that I think it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild. Yeah, defensively, definitely. And if this offensive line is coming unhinged. They're going to have to, at some point, move on from Jason Peters, find a left tackle. That's going to require a high draft pick. There's going to be a lot that they got to fix.
And they need another interior lineman as well. And that's what was so good. Like, I remember their interior line push. Like, let's not even talk about Lane Johnson or Peters. Their interior line push was nasty and physical. I don't see a whole lot. And you know what, Giff? I don't know if they're tough enough to stop the Bills' run game. The Vikings pummeled them into submission. I know Dalvin Cook's really good, but it was a physical manslaughter. Even the Vikings' backup running back was pounding them. Frank Gore better go 24, 25 times down the chute.
And we know we don't like to look at just one game, but that Dallas game was really bad. I mean, for an offense in Dallas that's vulnerable, that gives you multiple chances with the football, to go out there and basically lay down like that, not a good look for the Eagles. Yeah.
Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos, the Lawson and Gift podcast. Send me an email, LALawson, LALAWSON 21 @gmail.com.